on, y'all? It's J Smoke Reviews here, back at it again with another video, man. Bringing you guys, as I promised, the bar-for-bar recap for Swamp versus Averb. A battle that I gave my opinion on in the recap for the whole Chrome 23 event, which you can go check out in the last video. But obviously here, main event, there is some talking points afterwards. There always inevitably was going to be. But I wanted to give it, the detail, both of them, what they did good, what they did bad, what one of them did great. And, give it the proper breakdown so all ground is covered. So without further ado, let's hop right into the first round. So starts out on Swamp in the first, and he opens with this: how did I get into the House of the Elite? I shot the keypad on the gate code. Thought that was cool. Carolina rapper about to take it back, but I'm not J. Cole. Current event bar, hits. Then he gets into one of in my opinion, one of his better bars the first round. Kind of a bar about Verb having beaten A-Ward. And he said, "You killed that white bitch. Now take it to the grave like O.J. Simpson." I ain't gonna lie, I definitely ain't have Verb killing A-Ward, but I love the way he set that bar up. I thought it landed good. Tap you on the shoulder just to show you you're not untouchable. And this is where, something to mark for sure is that from the very beginning of the battle to the end, Swamp was on 100. Like, this is grudge match aggression, which I'm sure I've said already in the last video. I'm sure you've heard. And yeah, he was barking on him in that Miami-colored flower button-up. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely barking on Verb beginning at the end of the battle. Then he has a bar, shoot up the spa that you were, shoot the spa you're in. It was kind of like a little comedy. He had a few of those, just kind of antagonizing Verb, going at him. In high demand, like a Stanley Cup, you know what I'm saying? Definitely in high demand. Go get y'all a Stanley Cup. If you don't got one, man, get your water. And then he ends with his biggest bar of the round. And this is definitely playing to the crowd. He had mentioned like 308 and 305, which I believe are like Miami or Florida area codes. And then he ends with his body get found in Opalaka, which I'm very much so assuming is, an area out there. So very to the crowd, knowing where you're at, but it landed like a bomb to end this round. And overall, it's probably a little bit worse than I remember the round live. I did really like it live. I still think it is a good round, but more condensed, obviously ends on a high. And then Verb starts in the first, and right off rip, man, you can never underrate like the classic line potential of Averb. His opener: "You a Geico, relax, lizard, I'm a rhino with raps." We are already in the Jungle Book. We've already spoken on exotic animals in the opening bar. You just gotta love Verb, man. So Verb calls himself a rhinoceros with raps. But from there, I gotta admit, I think his first might be my favorite round from him in this battle. I'm everything that weak ass light from Yo Life don't attract. It's a lot of bars like that. It's not, punchline like, or even always tailored to Swamp like that, but it's good rapping. I mean, there's never any question if Verb is rapping his material good. Waving two sticks like a maestro with straps. Thought that was dope. Change your pitch when it's my up to bat. I actually really like that. Baseball, when it's up to bat, change the pitch. But this is a perfect example, right? I show y'all how to move and maneuver through manure. Only full scoop shit that you get from the sewer. Like, he rap, when you look at the syllables, the alliteration of it, like, there's a reason it sounds phonically good. That doesn't really mean that much, but I guess, he's talking to him. If you ain't up here, then you ain't up here. I actually like that. The two mugs clash, everyone cheers. You got in front of Reed and became a deer. And then someone said something about backwards. If you flip Reed, obviously you get deer. And then you can life a beach from the tan line. And then he had this scream scheme at the end. That was a draw a crack, look like the Scream mask, which I actually think is dope. The horror movie Scream mask where the mouth's hanging. So there's some things in there to like. Like, there is, I pointed out the maneuver through manure. Like, I'm not really, that's not. It's good rapping, but it's not really hitting for nothing. But I gotta admit, the little scream scheme was good. The waving two sticks like a maestro. I do think it's a debatable first. I felt like that. I did not feel like that much watching it. Watching it back, it's a debatable first to me. I still have Swamp edging the first. A little bit more direct, like just landed a little more direct. I do say Verb rapped it a little more smooth, so if you prefer that, you're going to get Verb that first, but this is, the most debatable round of the battle, so if you want, you can have it going one either way, but I got Swamp. So now we go into the second round. In the second, you got Swamp starting out with, you the man in the spaces, but not when I pull up. They the man in the spaces, but not when I pull up in they spaces. Step for step, I can almost feel they laces, so kind of getting that Verb a little bit. All that talk in the spaces, talked about checking him up in person. Like, I could feel that difference in energy, which is dope, coming off of a round where Verb kind of had some material in that first, like, along those lines, talking straight to him. I'll check your chin and keep checking it like a pot of grits is fire. I love that. 150 over 100. I'll shoot easy and VZ. 150 over 100, like my blood pressure up. Thought that was dope. He had this office rights schemes to the office rights and extort him for the office rights. If he gets hit with the left, get hit off his right. Like, he kind of, did some shit that you don't normally hear Swamp do. He definitely pushed his pen a little bit in this battle. This bitch got an undeniable ring, like a Facebook call. Thought that was cool. I scared him half to death twice. Then he died. Thought that was fire, and this might be my favorite, even though it's going back to an angle that I don't even know is 100% true with Verb. Obviously a bar that he's faced a few times, but Forrest Gump, I called you Forrest Gump because they beat you and made you run your cast off. The story about Verb getting chased around with I believe it was a broken arm, and then obviously Forrest Gump when he runs in the fucking, the leg structure, the knee equipment. I thought that was crazy. To me, that was his best bar of the second. And then he still has a little bit more. Dope Shooter. You hang out with Ice Pack and Hitman. I'm worried about Dope Shooters. For Ice Pack, I can get a Hitman. And then he even had this Miami timeshare bar that hits. So Swamp's second is even better than his first. It's more of those bombs in there. And I mean, he's the more tailored one of this battle, but he's also got some more of them punches that's really hitting for me. That pot of grit shit. And the Forrest Gump bars, to me, wild. So then you get Verb in the second, and he starts out kind of going at Swamp for being a landscaper. And at first I wasn't really rocking with it, I ain't gonna lie. He's like, how could you be like I don't know, like it's a regular living. However, he says at the end of the angle, when does a boss do the dirty work? I like that. That's actually a really good flip on it. So I didn't like the angle at first, but he ended on a pretty good punch. He had this wordplay. The mask and tape show up with a mask and two eagles. Like he played off kind of like the mask wordplay. He did it like 3 or 4 times. Thought that was dope. The real raps with Cuban ears. And then he had this showtime. Like in the first half of the second, it was a little hit or miss for me, right? And the thing is, I guess somebody was talking to his round. The crowd was rough all night, so I would love to joke on Verb that he did the showtime and then immediately like paused. It made it kind of awkward, but even though I didn't hear it on camera, I'm sure someone was actually talking off camera, and it didn't mess up the showtime at first. Like, he finished the whole, like, slogan for it, and then there was just silence for, like, 7 or 8 seconds. From there, you soft as a ball of yarn. I'll get you laid in a box like an action figure. Headshot your dreams out of the sky. You not cold, like... It was alright. Like, the back half of Verb's second was just okay, man. I know that there's, like, I think some people were trying to talk like there was something to talk about here in the second, but I feel like this was a clear round. This was not even Swamp's best round of the battle, but I thought he put a very powerful round, and then it's a clear dip in the content. Not really the rapping ability. It's all rap the same from Verb, but it's not even the aggression he brought in the Suge and A-Ward battle, and, he's calling him soft as a ball of yarn. So I had Swamp winning the second clear, and I had him up 2-0 going into the third round. And then we get into the third round of this battle, and this third round is a legacy moment for Swamp. He starts out with, working the pen again. He's got this kind of full circle scheme over the RB full circle concept, like Verb, you had Ill Will, and then Dodge, and then it all came full circle, kind of, how he battled Ill Will before Swamp. So, I don't know, cool little scheme off rip. But then from there, he gets into some trap talk, man. For a minute, it reminded me a lot of his third verse, Chef Trez. I know how many people love that round from him, including myself. My first performance was in front of a plug stove and a microwave. And then that leads into, really, in my opinion, immediately one of the best and most memorable bars of Swamp's career. I used to see how far the Fiends would walk for the Rock. That was my milestones. That is incredible. It is a super haymaker. And it reminds me, like I said, of the Chef Trez round when he had the scale, put it on the scale. But if I do got to, I'm going to charge you extra. Also, he's got the motherfucking, what was it? The pandemic. I've been alone so long, I ain't know when the pandemic hit. Like, it goes into that. But then, considering this battle, I don't know. For me, that Milestones bar is one of the best bars I've really heard him rap. and it's wrapped in like his best round in his biggest battle. You know, so there's a lot of reasons I love that bar. But he doesn't stop there. I made selling weed. I made my bed in the trees like a hammock. Fire, I like that. You be wearing all these dad hats, but the only thing you've been locked for is child support. I'm gonna be real, I don't even know if that's true, but very, very direct at Verb. For every Cardinal cap you got behind you, I brought a Desert Eagle. Crazy, another haymaker. So at this point, he's just chaining them together. All that Kevin Samuel shit just to come to a woman to get a check. That to me was extremely creative, and I wouldn't have thought of that approach like to go for that bar, but obviously Verb, we know he'd be giving the women, you know, hell on the internet. He did try to do the Kevin Samuels-esque thing when he left Battle Rap for a second. So to say, yo, but you did all that just to get the check from Remy Ma to do this battle, I thought it's a good way of flipping the situation on him a little bit. I was dead broke, holding on to the keys like Usher at halftime. You know, that's fire. Has a bar, like kind of joking at Verb, who we know has had angles, talked himself about like, you know, his babysitter touching him when he was younger. And Swamp said, you know, I got molested too, but that made me an expert with the Kunt Newt. So it's just anything happening now. And then another haymaker, one of his best in the battle. You and Hitman be walking around with them fake teeth. Bitch, I got real choppers. Crazy. And maybe all these haymakers, maybe the most like direct of it. And this is what I mean by tailored. He's saying, your promo ain't shit without my name in it. Your battles ain't shit without my name in it. He's from Pagedale. His hood ain't shit without my name in it. Obviously, Swamp's name's Sean Page. Pagedale. Doesn't get more direct than that. I thought it was a perfect way to end his third and end maybe at least a top 5 round in Swamp's career. Immediately, at least. But when you add the situation and just quality-wise, it could really be up there number 1 combo, man. I don't know, but I really love Swamp's third. And then Verb's third in response, I'm not going to lie, reminds me sadly more of his second than his first. He starts out with this KCJ and Beasley angle. And it's basically saying, like, you know, you apparently, like, Swamp was trying to get at KCJ, but since that's Beasley's girl, it's never going to let Swamp, like, Beasley will always stop Swamp from ascending. I don't know what the fuck Verb was talking about. It was nothingness. That angle was absolute nothingness at the top of his third. He didn't obviously stay on it that long, but I don't know why it exists, to be perfectly honest with you. I'm driving so long, I don't know my mileage. I'm stabbing shit rapid fire, Mike Myers and Danny Myers. That's really the bar. I think he had this bar that was like Think Bambi trying. It's no good. It's no good at the end of this third. And by then, his energy, his pace, it looked like a man who felt defeated, you know? And that's because that's what happened. Swamp really, even if Verb had a good, like, let's say his first, which was his best round, was here in the third. I mean, any of these rounds he had was getting squashed by that third. That was just, you know, a battle rapper, a very good, a top-tier battle rapper, in my opinion, in Swamp, who was fully, like, motivated for this, was pissed off and wanted this win and just wanted it more than the other guy. And that's what happens sometimes when you have a guy like Swamp. This is the biggest battle of his career. And for Verb, the one thing Verb always says that's true is that it is just another war for him. He has seen all the wars. He's been in bigger battles, bigger stages, all types of eras. So for him, I don't know if it's a matter of, you know, he's pretty good in this battle, but not as motivated maybe as he was for A-Ward, and maybe it's harder for him to light that fire, but, you know, all that harassing the Swamp, you definitely lit the fire under him, and he came on here and lit you on fire, you know what I'm saying? So I had Swamp winning the battle. Me personally, all 3 rounds with the debatable first, but the second and the third, very clear. And that is my full thoughts here, my full bar-for-bar review of Swamp versus Aver, breaking down detailed approaches, right? And I think everyone knows that it's a clear win for Swamp. I heard that Verb might have even admitted it, but I also saw he was talking about the building was gas, and time limits is what they talked about too. And, like, listen, after breaking down this material and watching it, you could probably take even 30, like, especially for Swamp's third, you could take 30 seconds, maybe a minute of material off. It's not changing how clear the second and the third is. It's just not doing it. Like I said, first is debatable. Like, very up there in the air to discuss. I actually think, for all I give Verb, I always say it's not as complex on camera. His first is going to age well, and I can see a lot of people giving him that first as they watch it more and more, even though he did have some, just some more that's based on the rhyming than the content, but there was still some bars hitting that first. But as you get to the second and the third, I don't think he keeps his level of content up there. The rounds are also definitely shorter. I don't think he ever goes like under time, but there's times where he's rapping like at 230, and this is a grudge match, man. You're not gonna win with just at 230. But you got to give props to Swamp, and listen, Verb's gonna stay booked for probably has his next battle booked right now, for all we know. And as for Swamp, you continue to hopefully get him these bigger legend plates. Thought last year it was great that he went and battled, gave Luke Castro, in my opinion, gave Luke Castro a shot on Homecoming, battled Stumbles, the clean matchup. But let's keep it going here. What's up with Calico? For me, is the immediate next thing we look. I'm not saying his next battle. It's not that simple. But we have SMs and other big events this year, and I want to see Swamp and Cal. And I feel like beating Verb like this keeps him on that trajectory. Even with Cal not being his best recently, that's still a SM battle. Let's not lose our mind here. And the matchup and the talk would be great. The goods is the Rex. I mean, hell, ask Swamp who he wants and see what Yeah, I heard a little bit of him and Easy talking. I don't want to see it now, but if he wants it, maybe he goes out and he gets that battle. I just want to keep seeing Swamp in big matches, because when he does have the Tay-Rocks, the Rum Nindies, and now the Averbs, you see the quality of battle rapper that we keep getting. But I'd love to hear your guys' opinion down below. Who do you think each of them should battle next? How do you feel about the result of the battle? And yeah, man, it's been J Smo Reviews again, y'all. As I said, like, comment, subscribe. I'm going to catch you on the next one, man. Peace.